Morning already.
Come on, wake up. Let's go.
Come on, get out of bed.
Glenn, Angel, and Tim. The Big Show on Kiss 92.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in the world, where we have the most interesting guests. And today we are live once again on Facebook as well as YouTube, and we have with us our friend, our colleague, who is the editor of Tabla, Venga Subramaniam. Good morning, Venga.
Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Actually,
morning.
that's not all. No, his title is Tabla editor and Tamil Marasu's audience and growth editor. How do we fit that on your card, bro?
You're saying
Beyond my long designation, I also have a very long name. Venga Subramaniam.
that's true.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, I took a lot of time filling it up in exam papers.
Then got time to actually do the exam, not by the time you're done
by
with the
time I
name.
fill up my name.
We're so excited for you. Tabla has been relaunched.
Yep.
I like how he keeps saying tabla. I mean,
Tabla.
tell him how to
Tabla.
pronounce it. Tabla.
Tabla.
What is a
a
tabla?
Tabla is a musical instrument. It's a classical musical instrument. So in Indian classical music, there's two schools of music: Carnatic, Hindustani. Carnatic is played a lot in the south part of India, and then Hindustani is a lot in the north. And so tabla is very common in the north as an instrument. It's almost synonymous with this great musician called Ustad Zakir Hussain, who passed on some time ago. And so a lot of Indians, when they first hear of tabla, they think of the musical instrument, right? But our job in Singapore is to also try to make it synonymous with the publication that we are doing.
Right.
And so when we say tabla, we want to try to have the Indians think both of the musical instrument and the publication that we give.
Right, it's like
provide.
tabla, music to my ear.
Because
Yeah.
it's also a tabloid, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
So it's a tabloid, so
Yeah.
tabla that play on words as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, speaking of this publication, for those who are unfamiliar, tell us a little bit about Tabla. Okay, how did it start? How has it changed? What does it offer?
So Tabla started in 2008, October 10. That was the first issue of Tabla. At that time, the thinking was to try and reach out to the wider Indian community beyond the Tamil-speaking ones, and also to the non-Indian community to kind of promote what's happening in the Indian community to the others as well. And so I think when it started, it was in quite a good place. But over time, of course, it took a little bit of a break, in the sense, or a bit of a slower pace because of there was at that time advertising was dropping, and generally print circulation had some challenges. And so it was only until recently where we decided to invest in the digital space of things and go digital. But I think Tabla has done a great job in reaching out to the Indian community over the years. Another thing is also, if you look at the census data, in 2010 there was about 41% or so of Indians who use English at home as their primary language. But in the recent 2020 census data, that figure has gone up to 59 point something %, right? So the increase in the usage of English in Indian community has gone up exponentially in just the past decade. And so, but we also don't want to say, hey, you don't use the language, so you're not part of the community. Actually, a lot of them are very much Indian, or they are very much in touch with the community, even if they aren't using the language frequently. So we are hoping Tabla will reach that space of Indians who may not use Tamil or their vernacular languages, but still want to engage with the Indian community.
Right. Or non-Indians like myself as well, who's into a bit of pop culture. I watch a lot of Bollywood movies and all that. Now I can understand because it's in English. Tabla is in English.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they have an online version as well as a physical copy version, which is released every Friday, right?
Yep. Every Friday, you can get it at newsstands in 7-Elevens. So in most 7-Elevens across the island on Friday, you can get a free copy there. There's also some copies available in various Indian associations and institutions, and even in food establishments. In Little India, you would find Tabla copy easily. Mustafa,
of course,
you find a copy of Tabla there. But also, I mean, if you want to get it on a regular basis, Tabla is actually a free paper. You just have to pay for the delivery, which is $2 a month or $24 a year.
That's all right.
That's it.
So
That's like 50 cents a copy. I mean, to be delivered straight to your doorstep,
Right.
which is great.
So it's quite an affordable rate, and you're really only paying for the delivery.
Yeah.
The paper itself is free. The other thing is, of course, as time comes, I think we are looking, we're having conversations to see whether we can bundle Tabla together with Tamil Murasu's daily paper. So if you are a subscriber to Tamil Murasu, or you buy it off newsstands, you also get Tabla as an add-on.
Right.
That's like a step that we're hoping to achieve in the next few months.
Okay.
And then we're also in talks with Straits Times to see if it's possible to also bundle Tabla with Straits Times.
Wonderful.
So that's some conversations that are going on.
So it would be lovely to bundle everything together. Digitally, though, it is tabla.com.sg. We are speaking to Venga Subramaniam, once again, the editor of Tabla. Let's continue to talk to him on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Dua Lipa with Training Season on Kiss 92.
All right, so Venga, talking about Tabla, the publication, right? I mean, yes, it is in English, but it is not by any stretch just an English version of Tamil Murasu, right?
No.
In terms of content, in terms of style, themes, what is the difference?
So when you look at Tamil Murasu is a daily paper, first of all. So there's a lot of your local news, your hard news, right? What your political news and governmental policies and so on. Of course, there are softer sections like community, lifestyle, sports, and so on. But that's a daily paper, and that caters primarily to the Tamil-speaking community of Singapore. And if you look at the Indian community, it's one of the most diverse communities, right? 2/5 of the Indian community are Tamils. The remaining speak variety of other languages, right? From Hindi, Bengali, Urdu, Gujarat, Punjabi, and so on. So you have quite a big group, about half of the Indian community who's speaking various languages, who aren't able to engage with Tamil Murasu's content. And so we try to feature a lot of these associations, their communities, events and happenings on Tabla, which you won't find necessarily on Tamil Murasu, because that's more for the Tamil community. I won't say it's totally doesn't overlap. There are some overlaps. Of course, if it's a major event, like our Tabla relaunch event, it engages a wider Indian community. Those sort of stories you'd find on Tamil Murasu, of course. But very community-specific stories, like Malayali Association is doing something, or Sindhi Association, whatsoever. Those very specific community stories, you're unlikely to find them on Tamil Murasu, but you would find them on Tabla. And Tabla is also a very cultural kind of paper. It's not really a news kind of thing. So when people come to Tabla, they don't want to read like politics or those kind of hard news. They want to see more cultural content, more arts related content, entertainment related content. So that's where Tabla's space is.
Okay.
So let me just dive into Tabla's website, because I'm looking at it now, and it's all very light news. Like you said, a lot of lifestyle, a little bit of sports, a little bit of gossip. So they have a section called A Dosa Pop Culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't play on the word of dosa.
Dose of pop
A
culture.
dose of pop culture. And then they also have things like what to do in Singapore for the entire week. So very sort of Indian skewed events, like the forgotten Indian prisoners of World War II. There's something happening at the gallery, as well as Sikandi, which is the warrior within, which sounds like a movie or performance.
It's a performance.
It's a performance. And then also music as well. So it's great for the community across all the different sort of, like you were saying, the Sindhis, the Hindis, the Punjabis, the South, the North, everywhere.
Yeah. So I mean, currently I think you're seeing some of this, the Shiganti and all that. These are actually because of the current program that's happening, that's really orchestrated by Esplanade, called Kala Utsavam. It's an annual event, and they feature quite a number of Indian, there's a lot of classical performances, but it's also to celebrate Indian culture, the arts, music, dance, and so on. And so they do that on a yearly basis. There are some number of local acts, but there are also international acts as well. And so that is like perhaps quite synonymous with that Tabla does, because we're also trying to do a variety of things, right? To try and engage the different segments of the Indian community. The Indian community is not very big. I think it's about 9% of Singapore, and among which the Tamils are about 5 to 6%. But it's also very diverse and different. And Kala Utsavam celebrates that. Esplanades Kala Utsavam celebrates the diversity in a sense, and so it's very natural for Tabla to also report some of these events. I went for a drama production myself called Mission Maligapu.
Yeah.
It was by a group called Agam Theatre. And it was it touched a bit upon the Japanese occupation, the colonial period, and how how the jasmine flower plays into that whole the period of history, right? And how the locals survived under the Japanese occupation in a sense, and that was quite interesting, right? So I think Tamil culture and Tamil arts are kind of taking into a new evolution, a new form.
Yeah.
So it's no longer just song and dance. It also talks about history. It also talks about very serious social, political issues, and that's a great thing.
May I
Yeah,
suggest,
that's-
if you haven't already interviewed one of our, musicians here in Singapore, Young Raja.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Have you
Yes,
interviewed
yeah.
him already?
Yes. We've
Oh, he's
done a
done
couple
it.
of interviews.
Yeah, he's such a
Yeah.
great guy to
He's
to
excellent,
talk
yeah.
to.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, he's so big now, no?
Yeah.
Yes,
Goes
yeah.
to India all the time to perform and all that.
Yeah, he's like a star. I mean, he's
Superstar.
a local, born and bred superstar who's gone international,
Yeah.
and we are very proud of of course, his achievements. There was yesterday I went for a book launch on Singapore Tamil youth. So they had about 64 youths collated into a book. And one of them was Young Raja.
Of course.
And so he's a very common name now. And so one thing that I also like about Young Raja is that he blends Tamil into his music, and so he doesn't, in the name of reaching out to the wider mass or for popular appeal, forget his roots in a way, right? So his roots, his heritage comes into the music that he does, and perhaps that's also his secret to success. I don't know, right? So, but it feels like that is very authentic of him, and it puts him in a very different South Asian artist light, and that's something that I think, in a way, I think that's how things are progressing, right? You can't just say, okay, I'll just use Tamil, I'm a Tamil activist or staunch Tamil, and I will only use Tamil to try and reach out to the young people of today, right? You have to have a mix of languages, and that's where Tabla kind of comes in as well. And we try to have that kind of balance, right? Because the reality is English is the most common lingua franca, and in Singapore, with all these diverse cultures, English is the best way to get around the community. And so we can't we can't be very extremist in our thoughts, and we have to try and have a blend of various things.
So, are we also saying that some members of the Indian community can't read Tamil? Or
Yeah,
I'm sure there are quite a few, right?
Yeah, there are.
Oh, okay.
So they take Tamil up till, most of them take it up to secondary school. Some of them who go to JC, they take it up in A levels. But if you go to poly, there's no, or diploma. Some of them take Tamil studies. There's Tamil studies with early childhood education. There are Tamil degree programs, but most, by and large, don't go through that route. They go through, they take up other kind of courses. So after a while, they lose touch with the language. So
Right.
there is a good a number of them who don't use the language, right? And so after a while, if you aren't, so language is such that if you are not using it, you lose it, right? So after a few years, if they are not using it, they kind of get to a point where they don't read it. But
Right.
that's not to say we want to abandon them, right? We want them to still be part of the community, and so that's where Tabla can try and reach out to them.
Right.
It's kind of like us. We don't
Yeah.
read every Mandarin character,
Oh my God.
right? Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't anymore.
It's the same. When when you were in school, you were kind of like immersed in that, and after a while, if you don't practice
That's
it,
true.
you lose it. You know.
Good points.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, we're gonna go back on air, and we'll talk about the relaunch.
Sure.
The relaunch event, which was held on the 19th of
19th,
November.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I want to ask you about specific type of content and whether it's featured on Tabla.
Okay.
Something
Sure,
that
sure.
close and dear to my heart.
All right.
My stomach.
Stand by, folks.
And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the SLE to its CTE, vehicle breakdown after Woodlands Avenue 2. BKE to its PIE, vehicle breakdown before the SLE. TPE to its PIE, another breakdown after Lorong Halus. And on the KJE to its PIE, heavy traffic at the PIE Changi exit.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We have been chatting with Venga Subramaniam, who is the editor of Tabla, and he's also part of Tamil Murasu, of course. He's the audience and growth editor. Welcome, Venga. Hope you're having a good time with us.
Yep. So far, so good. So far.
And congratulations
Very
on
fun
the
talking to you.
relaunch of Tabla as well. Tabla.
Tabla, yes.
Relaunch of Tabla.
Tabla. And we've enjoyed learning so much about Tabla, about the kind of content that they offer. We talked about how, language brings the community together, music and all that, which you guys cover, pop culture. I want to ask, do you guys talk about food? Food reviews on Tabla, because I'm always looking for shook food, right? So do you guys cover, is this a big part of your content, and what kind of food do you cover?
Yeah, so food was a very big part of Tabla when it first started in 2008. But over the years, in the name of keeping it simple and removing some sections to keep it more concise, food was one of it taken out, sadly. But so that's also one aspect of the relaunch that we're trying to do, right? We're trying to bring back some of these content that not just our community but beyond our community.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, who doesn't love biryani?
Oh, I just had it over the weekend.
Yeah. So we want to, where are the best biryani spots in Singapore? Where what are some of the popular neighborhood biryani spots in Singapore? So those are kind of things that we want to bring back onto Tabla. Food is a big content pillar that we are looking at to bring back. But of course, on an ad hoc basis, we do cover. We have covered just very recently. We covered Mr. Biryani's new initiative, right? I don't know whether the campaign is still going on, but if you don't use your phone while you have your food, you get like 15% discount.
Oh, nice! I like
So
that.
it's going on. You can. It's a free
Digital
plug.
Next time, you want to use the phone to take a photo
No,
of the
can I-
beautiful
Oh, yeah,
biryani to
I don't know
promote
whether you can
Mr.
do that.
Biryani.
I don't know whether you
okay.
You can do
So-
it outside and
Yeah.
just like take a picture of the shop.
Not even a free papadam or extra serving. You actually
Yeah.
get a discount.
Yeah, you get a 15%
Wow.
discount.
But if you want to use your phone, then you won't get the discount. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very recently, but from time to time we have various food established stories. When I think a few years ago when Liverpool won the Champions League, I think it was Casuarina and Gayatri's. If you wear a Liverpool jersey to the restaurant, you get
Yeah.
a free prata or something.
Oh,
So
nice.
so those kind of stories from time to time we do cover. So food is not entirely out of the but we want to keep it. We want to have a dedicated section for it even on our web and in all that, and in videos around it. So quite similar to how Berita Harian, our Malay family publication, has Kaki
Makan, yeah.
So they have regular food content going out, and we want to try and do something similar for Tabla as well. But beyond food, I think there are other content verticals that will be of interest to our, not just Indians but across Singapore and across the world. So we want to have a diaspora section to feature some of what are the Indian community groups across the world doing. There's a very big pool of Indian community. You wouldn't believe it. Even for our data, one of our top 5 countries is actually coming from the US in terms of our readership. So one would naturally think Singapore, Malaysia and your neighboring countries, but actually US, there's a considerable number of audience. It's third, I think, for Tamil Marathon and for Tabla as well. So we have a sizable US population coming to read our content.
Beautiful.
And so we want to also try and engage that kind of community
Right.
groups, right? They are interested in what's going on in Singapore. Singapore, and I'm sure Singaporeans are interested in what's happening there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
In the US Indian community, we have family there, we have friends there.
Yeah.
We want to know what's happening. So even in countries like Germany and Europe, we have sizable audiences coming from those parts of the world. Obviously, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Canada, those are countries as well that we see traction from. So we want to engage those groups as well, and we want to try to have a diaspora community
Yeah.
page. And then beyond that is also. So now, earlier, we mentioned about some of Kala Utsavam, Esplanade, arts programs and all. There isn't a dedicated arts page. We have a relax entertainment page where all this goes. We want to have a dedicated arts page, right? So even if nothing is happening, even if there's no event happening, which usually there's something happening, but even if there's nothing happening, we can feature the various like tabla is for example one instrument that's common in the north. So what is tabla, right? What is the how long has it been around? Who plays it? What is it used for? So the history of tabla, for example. So the various different dance forms, even the textiles. So we used to say in office as well, India is a combination of 28 countries.
Yeah.
Right? So there's 29 states in India, and each state is its own, has its own diverse, its own unique culture, their textile, their food. If you go from south to north India, the same dish, right, chapati or naan or whatever, you'll taste spicier as you go.
Changes,
you taste more spicier in Andhra or Karnataka is probably in the south. So the even the same dish can taste different in different countries. So that's the diversity of Indian culture. We want to celebrate that, right? And so we want to have a dedicated arts page where that can happen. It beyond another content vertical we're looking is education and youth, of course, and hopefully, we talked about bundling a bit, so hopefully we can work with MOE to distribute tabla to some of the Indian kids in primary schools and so on,
right.
To get them engaged at a young age. When I grew up in school, I had a copy of TNP, and that's how the newspaper was such such an interesting thing for the young people, right? So we want to have tabla in that direction.
Right, okay. We only have 30 seconds left. I just want to ask you, because I did promise I'll ask you how the relaunch was. That was on November 19th. It was quite a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, the new and improved tabla, ladies and gentlemen. How was that relaunch and where was it held?
So the relaunch was held in a new auditorium. It is a state of the art, and it's a very nice auditorium that we had the event in. And it's probably the first time tabla had done such an event, engaging its various stakeholders. About 80 of them who attended from various, Hindis, Gujaratis, Malayalis, and so on. So there's many different associations that we got representatives from. MOS, Minister of State for MCCY and MOM, Dinesh Vasu did a 45-minute dialogue, and we addressed various issues from Indian businesses, the challenges that businesses had, arts, education, how languages play a place in today's education context. There was even a question on Indian funerals and how it's happening. So Minister MOS Dinesh made a small joke that we covered topics from birth to death. So it was a wide spectrum of issues, and it was great, right? Because people had the chance to ask what the burning questions on their mind, and there, even if there wasn't a direct answer or direct solution for all these issues, at least there was a platform to share these concerns and to see how we can take things forward together.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Venga, for joining us from Tabla. Tabla. We are going to go to the Straits Times now because we've got a news update coming up. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and we want to invite you to come in again sometime.
I hope so. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
To see you guys
Thank you,
again.
Venga.
Future. Yeah.
Thank you. We've been speaking to Venga Subramaniam, the editor of Tabla. It is 8:29.
Kiss 92.